Hi, this is
Gil
and Gene of Retire There, a podcast about retirement destinations. We live in Brooklyn, New York. Having grown up and worked in this area of the country, we're hoping to relocate when we're both retired. For us, it's the weather, the chaos, the noise, and the yearning to be near nature and not within 3 feet of human beings.
That's right. In February 2020, we embarked on our journey to find that special place. We spent a week in Winter Park, Florida, which is beautiful, but something said it wasn't for us. As we were planning for the next trip, the pandemic arrived. Gene then gave birth.
I gave birth?
To this podcast. With so many baby boomers retiring, many must be relocating. Why not connect with and learn from them?
Here's a little background about us.
I'm Asian, born in Brazil, and grew up in Flatbush, Brooklyn. I'm an engineer turned attorney turned podcaster. I recently retired from a university career practicing higher education law. I loved the academic environment, but it was time to do something else. I no longer have to set an alarm, drive in BQE traffic, or work with people who don't always share the same principles. Ooh, did I just say that? You bet I did. I traded all that in to binge crime dramas into the wee hours, just a little bit, to develop the podcast, to volunteer, practice metalsmithing, tackle our possessions. No regrets so far. Gene?
I'm not Asian, and as Gil mentioned, I'm not retired. I'm just plain tired.
Oh.
Born and raised in Long Island, New York, a place I always wanted to leave. I'm a law librarian working in a court who loves his job, but we're retired by the time we select our ideal location. We will be speaking to folks from across the street to across the globe who have moved to their dream venues and more. So please stay tuned and remember, if you know anyone who has moved anywhere for retirement, let us know.
Hola! Today we're chatting with Cindy and Fred Willett about retiring in the lesser-known quaint town of Huatulco, Mexico. If you look on a map of North America, Huatulco is located directly south of Dallas, Texas, on the Pacific coast in the state of Oaxaca. Specifically, the town of 50,000 is where the foothills of the Sierra Madre del Sur mountains meet the Pacific Ocean, approximately 250 miles east of Acapulco. Huatulco consists of 3 major areas. La Crucecita means the Little Cross, with its big downtown and old residential areas, which is where Cindy and Fred live. Santa Maria Huatulco, location of its city hall, and La Cruz, which means the cross, where the cruise ships arrive. The town has 9 bays, 36 beaches, several major resorts, rainforests, waterfalls, coffee plantations, and exotic wildlife, fruits, and vegetables. One of the fun things to do in Huatulco is shopping for local handcrafts. Gene, a little bit about our guests.
First of all, it sounds like I want to move there. Cindy Charles Willett is originally from South Texas and has lived in Texas, Pennsylvania, West Virginia, and Mexico. Her work life has been just as varied. Cindy has been an airline hostess and reservationist, merchandiser, English as a second language teacher and school owner, addiction recovery coach, photographer, YouTuber, and expat to Mexico information provider. She also studied in mental health institutes in both Texas and West Virginia. That's quite the life you've led there, Cindy. Falling in love with a man is what first brought Cindy to Mexico, but her love of the country is what keeps her there today. While an airline hostess, she dated a Mexican passenger. That's a no-no. Got pregnant on their honeymoon and had a boy. The family moved to a major industrial coastal town in southern Mexico. Cindy lived there for 21 years, and by then, her son had joined the U.S. Navy. So she left Mexico to be closer to him in the States. Cindy then met Fred in Pennsylvania. They married and lived in the West Virginia mining area. Fred is an engineer from the Boston area, where he owned the company for 30 years. Again, love is what brought Cindy back to Mexico. This time it was her son's love of a girl who he had known while in high school in Mexico, to whom he married and settled in Huatulco. Cindy and Fred were both sick of the cold weather, so Cindy convinced Fred to move there as well. They love it and think it's almost heaven, and say they live a great life on Social Security alone. Wow. Cindy uses her YouTube channel, Life in Huatulco, to educate expats and wannabe expats about living there. Cindy and Fred both enjoy, get this, Roku church hopping,
Interesting.
helping people start new lives in Mexico, promoting local businesses pro bono, and volunteering.
Wow, that's a mouthful, Gene. You guys have done so much. So, Cindy and Fred, welcome to the podcast. We understand your son gave you the impetus to move to Huatulco, but please tell our audience what else helped you make that decision as your retirement destination.
I was sick and tired of snow. I grew up in New England area. I did skiing. I did snowmobiling. I did all those winter sports. I enjoyed it when I was doing it.
Yeah, sure.
But, the cold was getting too much. So I was looking for a warmer place to retire. So our son ended up, he had conversed with someone he had met in high school in Mexico, because he graduated in Mexico, and he was going to visit her. Well, when he came back, he says, I found the perfect place for you guys to retire. And that was Huatulco.
He had done all the research. He got us an apartment, a studio apartment, and it was $125 a month. He and his fiance, well, we went to their wedding and all, but we had to go ask for the hand in marriage because he was raised Mexican. He has to do it the Mexican way, and I understood that. He did all the grocery prices, and he said, you're going to be okay, Mom, and I'm going to take you down there. And he did. We actually got an apartment with our daughter-in-law's uncle. They're 3.5 years. We did a video on that little bitty tiny studio and how little by little we updated it into our home. And 450,000 people watched that video and got new hope.
Oh.
And I want to tell you right now that I'm on the verge of tears, and I'm far from an emotional person. I'm not. And because what you're doing is what's so heavy on our heart. You have no idea, or maybe you do, how people struggle to live on Social Security and still hold a job and not be able to afford the medical they need, to be able to afford vitamins. I'm telling you, it's rough just to keep the heat going on in their home in the winter. Yeah. We get so many emails of people that just need to come for the winter because they can't afford to stay warm. And we teach how the produce, this area is very healthy. The pain leaves their body. People who can only walk half a block are walking 2 miles a day within a week. Wow. The produce is amazing. People come into our home and eat. We invite people into our home and we cook for them. And I don't use spices. All they do is taste the produce and they're beside themselves. And we have National Reserve parks everywhere, and the oxygen is amazing. Oh. People just get well here. Their body doesn't hurt. It's an amazing place to live. And I want to thank you so much for doing this show to show people all the options that they have so they can have a new life and be reborn. I just thank you so much for your work.
Thank you. You're making me cry. Okay. Well, you covered a lot there. You could wrap up now, but I don't want to. So let's go back a little. So when your son found the place, when you left the United States, did you consider anywhere else in Mexico? Were there any pluses and minuses of Huatulco, or did you just fall in love with it instantly?
In this country of Mexico, if you ask a Mexican kid, maybe in Mexico City or Monterrey or somewhere, where's your dad going to take you for vacation this Easter? And if they say Huatulco, it's like, oh, wow. This is the most sought after place for Mexican families to come for vacation in the entire country. It's the number one.
Okay, good to know. Let's talk a bit about housing. So you moved down into this studio. Are you still in that studio now?
No, we had another God incident that you can't even believe, but we're living in a little house. That we rent for $200 a month. Whoa. And it was like, he had been praying for a garage, and I had been praying for a private bedroom, not just living in one room. Right. And we were looking for a place for some subscriber who had written to us. And so I said, I was getting my hair cut. And someone said they had a house for rent across the street. So I said, go check it out, Fred. When he came back, he said, it's ours.
Nice, Fred.
Looking for a place. He said, it's my garage and your bedroom. And we looked at it and we rented it in 2 hours. We just had to go get the money. It had been up for rent 15 minutes. And we asked our pastor to hurry and come and look at it. And he got on a scooter and he said, we'll rehab this. Because I knew he did that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. And I said, you promise you can do it? Oh, yeah, this can be beautiful. He got stimulus checks at that time, and he used his, and I used mine, and we rehabbed the place with $2,000. Oh, yeah, tile and everything, gutted the bathroom, everything, and moved the wall. But I know about that stuff. Remember, I lived 21 years. I rehabbed 3 houses already in Veracruz, and it took us 14 days. And night and day, boy, he learned fast.
Fred, I think you got the total package.
Oh, yeah.
So we love our home and never stop thanking God for it. Mm-mm. The initial studio with a terrace looking over a mango tree, what a beautiful place, was $125.
Okay.
Wow. Now this is $200.
Gotcha.
It's also 4 years later.
Got it for 3 years.
Yeah.
So you live, I assume you live where the Mexican working people live, not an expat area, right?
Yeah,
you got that right.
No.
We're the only people from the United States living here.
Yeah, in this area, but we're very happy.
Yes,
and
yes.
We love Fred, and he does all the shopping, and I never go shopping. He does it all.
How did you get that chore, Fred?
I've done it for all my life.
All right, so what's the utilities? Give us an idea.
Okay, so when it was very, very, very hot this year, the doctor actually made us put an air conditioner in the living room because this is the hottest I've ever. I've ever been in Mexico in 26 years. Times are changing, and that electric bill was $25 a month. Oh. They charged by 2 months. Really had the air condition on. I mean, it was rough, and I was worried. So it was $25, and that's the highest we've ever had it. Now, I cook with a lot of electric cooking. It's that we have 2 meters, one for the air condition and then one for the regular. And I cook. My son loves buying me electrical devices for cooking. But I've never paid more than 400 pesos for 2 months of electricity. That's $10 a month.
Right. Yeah. I was just checking that at today's currency, it's 1 peso to 5 cents US.
Yeah, what we do is it's 20 pesos to $1.
That's how we figure. Yeah. Internet's $25 across the board usually. I have 2 different service providers because of the YouTube. Internet goes down a lot here.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So people are going to work online. Living in Huatulco, they better get Starlink. Isn't that the new?
Yes, I've heard of that.
And pay $100 a month or they're going to be in a bind. I know they say that we have fiber optic, but that's not for everybody. Not everybody gets it.
In all the areas.
No. Now, I actually use AT&T phone pay as you go, pay online or prepaid. And it's $65. Unlimited internet, and I have literally uploaded my YouTubes on my phone.
Wow, nice.
But it's AT&T. But that doesn't mean that AT&T is going to be good in every town in Mexico. You got to find out if it's good in your town.
Yeah, I would think with all the resorts and things like that would be key. When you have resorts and people coming from all over the world, they expect good internet, or in the hotels, right?
Yeah, they get it. They get it. They get the water. They get first dibs. So that's what happens.
But being here, every year they update. They seem to get a little bit better service.
The water bill. Now we're having a big water issue, and I should tell you about it, a big water issue, but it's 88 pesos a month. Oh. Now, if you live in another sector that's more expensive, and with the swimming pools and all, I don't know how much it is. I know they are complaining that it's high, but it can't be as high as it is in the United States. I think people get a little spoiled, when they start saying high. If a person wants a home with a swimming pool, they need to be prepared to pay for that,
Sure.
And I can't imagine it would cost more than $50,
That's amazing.
The shortage of water in this town. People need to be aware of that. Because consider a hotel, a family of 6 in a hotel room that comes from Mexico City. They come from the beach. They're taking showers for hours. That's what's happening.
Oh, I see.
So when it's Christmas, Easter, and vacation people are coming, we have a shortage of water.
Oh, it's those specific times that you
And
notice.
there's so many people at the hotels.
Right. So many people at the hotels. Oh,
And
okay.
being washed. And you just...
And so what happens? You just try to take a shower and the water comes out, or very little?
Well, we have a Tanaka upstairs.
We have a
on the roof.
rotoplas.
It's a rotoplas.
What's that?
It stores the water overnight that we can use during the daytime.
Oh,
And we
nice.
don't use it.
We don't abuse of it.
We, so far, they have shortages in other areas, but we've been able
We've been
to have-
okay because we don't use it up.
Okay.
People that have homes in Sector N, Sector O, Sector M, and then all the homes that are on the cliffs looking at the oceans, the $1 million homes, they've got like big underground swimming pools full of water, and that's helps a lot for them.
So let's talk a bit about food. I know you said that you cook a lot. What if for example, I don't want to cook. When I retire, I don't want to cook at all. Can I live
At all?
Can I live reasonably just eating out?
If you have time, and so many people try that at first, and if you have time to be eating out all the time, I mean, think about the time it takes.
Yeah.
Wonderful restaurants. And you
Lots
can
of
make your budget and you can work that out. But because of COVID, things started getting delivered. And you can get anything delivered. You can get anything delivered. You can have your marlin fish or your my fish cooked or raw. You can get salads. You can get everything, your produce. Or there's apps to go on. And I mean, I've got my favorite taco place and pizza for the grandkids. Anything can be delivered to you. And then there's mom and pop restaurants. They've got mom and pop favorite places for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. They know the menu. They know what they're going to get. And they probably spend $10.
Oh,
wow.
Okay.
And they eat
Meal.
nice meal.
Yep.
Nice meal.
All right.
Yeah.
So that's about $10 a meal.
A person.
For one person.
And,
to eat good for lunch.
Are there good food carts around? Is there good street food in Huatulco?
There is. There's lots of good. And you just see which ones are always busy, and you'll know that those are safe.
That's a good sign. Right?
They're delicious.
And the other thing is you try to find out how long they've been there in that location.
Yeah.
And, so that we go to some places they've been there for 25 years.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're a regular there.
All right. I just have one question going back to housing. You pay only $200 a month for rent, but it might have been tough to find that place. What can you get? Say you want to find a place in your area, but what do you think it would cost today for a 1 or 2 bedroom? Would
to
it be
buy?
under to rent? Would it be under 400?
The rent has gone up sky high. The mentality here is that they lost a lot of money and a lot of people suffered financially 2 years of COVID, and they've decided they need to make up for it. And that is the going mentality. To find a place for $500 to $14,700, that's normal now. If you can do it.
$700 US.
Yeah.
And it's not going to be luxurious. I mean, it's going to be okay. But to live in the nicer expat areas, you should be prepared to go 1,000 and up.
And what do you get for that? How many bedrooms?
2.
Okay.
Probably in a community with a pool.
And do you need a car to get around?
Not at all.
No.
Now, we have a car, but the reason we have a car is we made the payments 4 years while a family member used it. And that was what we wanted to do. We wanted to help the family member. And when the family member finally was able to get an SUV for the kids and all, then we got the car. We don't need a car. We use the ATV a lot.
Oh.
And you can buy ATV in a grocery store here. I kid you not.
This must be some big aisles.
You can buy an ATV in a grocery store?
Absolutely. Yep. And a scooter too.
Wow.
No, wait. Are we talking about buying the ATV or shopping using the ATV to carry everything? What are you saying?
Right there in the main aisle, all the ATVs.
Right after the checkout. There's a big aisle.
Wow, you can buy one?
I got mine on Black Friday. I got a good deal about 4 years ago.
How much was that, if I may ask?
Oh, back then it was 32,000 pesos.
Wow. That's
And the
amazing.
ATV I read you can ride it along the coast. Is that right?
Yeah. It's legal.
Wow, that's great.
So this is an ATV for the both of you? It's only for one person?
We had to, but we like to go together on the same one.
So you have one now for the two
Yeah.
of you, and you do all your shopping. Okay, got
We
you.
put a cage. We put a big cage on the front and the back. We can even go to the beach with beach chairs and everything. They all fit.
Wow.
That's so cool.
That's great.
Let's talk a moment about healthcare.
Are there hospitals in Huatulco?
So IMSS, IMSS, okay? That's the Medical Health Center, healthcare system in Mexico. I was married to a doctor, was a director of one twice. So I do know a little bit. I've had 2 operations in them. I trust it. There's one lady here who literally from Canada had brain surgery and they saved her life. Okay, is it luxurious? Oh, no, it's not luxurious. Do you wait? Yes, you do. But what you do is, if you want to, you can become a member of it and just keep it in case there's emergency. Different parts of the country of Mexico, there are different hospitals with specialized doctors from the IMSS for each type of sickness. It may be Merida for tumors. It may be Mexico City for cancer. I know that Puebla is for back and leg. So that's where they would send you if you needed help. But as far as paying for yourself, we have a clinic that we go to that we like. There's a brand new, he said, hospital. But actually, my son pointed out, Mom, it's not a hospital. It can't be a hospital. And we went and read it. It's a clinic.
Okay.
It's hard to become a hospital. You know, we have a Navy hospital because we're a Navy town, but we have clinics. Almost any type of medical care is available in Oaxaca, our capital. So people go there to the doctor quite regularly when they have odd conditions. We have floater doctors. We have heart specialists and diabetic specialists, etc., that go to Oral Med, the new clinic, for appointments, and it's usually at night because these doctors come in from another town and see patients. They're called floaters. Or you can go to Puerto Escondido, Pachutla, and they have floater doctors that go there. What they do in Mexico is they try to prevent. And even if you were to go to the IMSS, the doctors would always send you to nutritionists. They make you, that's the deal, is to prevent. The big theory here in Mexico. But when I asked about, I wanted to know if a person had a heart issues, what city did they need to be living in, really? And or if they had lung issues, what city really? I think that's a better way to handle it. He said, no, you just go there if that were to happen. I believe that people who really need Plan B, they need to live on the border. They need to live in Ensenada. They need to be there because they can go back and forth for their medical, for their Medicare. On Part B, if they have VA insurance and they know they have issues, they need to be on the border. They have their permission to live here legally, but they need to be on the border to go for their checkups. There's certain parts of the border they don't need to be at, and that's the Texas border. No. But you go to the California border, it's safe, and they can be going back and forth for their care and using their Plan B.
Oh, very smart.
Or if a person has family still in the United States. And they did, for example, one gentleman was able to go be with his daughter in Utah and get his surgery that he needed. She was happy to tell him when he left, you remember, anytime you have a medical issue, come on home. If you have someone like that, and not many of us do, we're alone in the world, a lot of us. Yeah. But if you have a loved one you can go live with, if you do need a bypass or something like that, just keep your B, then keep your Plan B because you know you can use it. My son, Mom, why are you paying Plan B? I don't know anything about it, son. He said, Mom, would you go to a Mexican hospital or an American hospital if you got sick right now? We were in the States at the time. I said a Mexican hospital because that's what I believe in. And that's what I know. And he said, get rid of Plan B, Mom. And it was a $300 raise between us. A lot of money here when you're $200, you know, and people come here for their dental. They come here for a surgery on their prostrate. They come here for hernias. We have excellent doctors. I know this because a lot of doctors in the United States actually studied in Tampico Medical College or in Guadalajara Medical College because they can't afford the medical college in the United States. They're Americans, and then they go back and pass the board, Have doctors here. And I know this because I was first lady of the medical group in my town because of the Doctors Association. And those doctors would go to Houston. A lot of doctors go to Houston and operate on the weekends.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
They're good. And Fred just had surgery under here because it had flipped
Under his eye, yeah.
eye, which is a normal situation for men 65 years old who are güero. That means white-skinned. And that doctor charges 10,000 pesos, $500 surgery.
Wow.
And some of the ladies said Fred looked so good, they wanted to go and have her do them just for cosmetics. So she got a lot of new cases. And she's studying to transplant retinas. And I said, where are you going to get them? She said, we have cornea banks here. And right here in Huatulco. So we have good doctors here.
Don't be afraid.
Do you have a private hospital there?
It's called OralMed, and they have to call it a clinic. And yes, you go in there, and they do surgeries there.
Oh, okay.
But if it were going to be something different, maybe, well, I know they do. Our friend went 2 towns over to have his knee replaced.
Yeah, that's right. He had a knee replacement.
Because there's a better hospital there in Pachutla, Ondido, but it's affordable.
Let's talk a bit about transportation. So if I don't have an ATV and let's say I don't want to buy a car or anything, is there public transportation available?
Oh, yeah, you got the blue bus.
You got the blue bus.
Okay. Yeah. And how much is that to go, let's say, to the airport? Where is the nearest airport? I should ask. Where is the nearest airport?
HUX.
And that's 18 minutes.
Oh, from where you are. Great.
And it's $1 for the bus.
Nice. $1 to get to the airport.
But if you want to go in a collective taxi or you can private taxi, the private taxi coming back from the airport when you land is 470 pesos. Or you can walk out of the airport and get it for $10.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Oh, Lord.
You can go town to town in buses and vans. You can get on a van that leaves every 2 hours. There's one to Oaxaca. And it costs $15 to $18 without your INAPAN, without your discount.
Okay.
And that's a $6 drive.
Yeah. You had mentioned that so long as you pay in advance, then you get this 40% or so discount. What do you mean pay in advance? You purchase your ticket in advance?
The ticket in advance, yes.
Gotcha. Okay.
But that's for long distance trips, right?
Right. Like a Greyhound or something,
Okay.
We call it ADO.
ADO. What about just food shopping? Do you walk or do you normally take a public transportation? Because I'm on the public transportation question.
I walk every day, sometimes 2 or 3 times a day.
Oh, so you pick up the groceries?
Yeah, 2 blocks around.
Do you guys, you eat healthy, you say, and have you cut out anything that you used to eat in the U.S. to aid in that eating healthy? Or I hear you mentioning pork chops. Are you still eating pork chops?
Well, we have 2 boys. Our housekeeper has 2 little boys that come twice a week.
Oh.
So we make sure they eat a lot and they get the pork chops. And this Friday, they're going to get hot dogs. They are so excited. Luxuries.
Those are luxuries.
Aww.
But we eat
fish.
My is delivered here. Chicken. Oh, we have a great chicken guy. He speaks English. Yeah. And produce like crazy. I want to tell you that we have herbs that are outstanding and they're in the trees. And I have YouTubes teaching how to make all these healthy drinks, from all these herbs and flowers. One of our dear friends, our alternative doctor, and she's taught me a lot too.
I like also the holistic healing. You don't have to have a medicine for everything.
No, we have moringa trees. You just go, we've got neem trees.
Neem trees. Yeah.
We've got all types. I believe the Canadians, like 20 years ago, they like to do things to help the community. They're excellent about that. And they planted all those trees.
The neem trees?
Yeah.
The neem trees, the moringa trees.
Wow. I only know about neem because of the neem oil that I buy for, for treating plants when they're ill or trying to get rid of bugs or something. So neem oil is highly recommended. So that's not native to Mexico. You're saying the Canadians brought them?
I don't know. They planted them, and we have, hibiscus is major for helping your kids. Yeah, and we all drink that almost every day. We boil that. We use wormwood.
Oh, wormwood. Yeah.
When we cook our beans. There's so many herbs here that people pick. Oh, we eat cactus like crazy. And that's so good for everybody. Yep. We use cactus pods in our sandwiches instead of bread.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Wow. Those are thick. I mean, I've seen them. How do you have to cook those first, right? Will you grill them?
Right. Well, my son makes a salad with them. We used to have 600 videos teaching all those beautiful recipes and everything, but we're starting over on our new channel.
Okay.
600 videos.
And tell everybody the name of your new channel?
Life in Huatulco.
Life in Huatulco on YouTube.
Gotcha. We're going to put all this in the show notes so people can follow you.
It's so healthy to eat here.
That's good that you figured out this lifestyle changes or additions, all those kinds of things.
So many people have said that when they leave the U.S.
Right.
Or some other places.
Right. People are healthier outside the U.S., Gene, and they're paying less than us.
Yeah.
Medication that I was taking for my bypass when I was 65, they cut it down because I didn't need it as strong.
Many people go off many medicines here, but they do need to go to the doctor, have lab work. It's cheap as dirt because they want to keep just taking the same medicine. No, they got to get checked after like 3 months because their blood pressure is going to go down automatically. They may be taking medicine they don't need anymore.
Right. People may not realize, right? You've been taking it for 10 years. Yeah. 20 years. Yeah. Okay.
I have a question. Cindy had mentioned on another show she was on that Huatulco is number 2 in ecology in the world. What do you mean by that?
Well, we were number 2 ecologically, and Switzerland was number 1, but we're number 1 now.
Yay! Okay, so tell us how it got there.
Yeah, our beaches are very clean, and they have cleanup days, and and the expats volunteer, and they literally sift the sand 4 inches down, get all the impurities out. Okay, so we still have the coral reefs and for snorkeling because water from the sewer is purified and refined and used for landscaping, to watering all of the landscape. It's a beautiful city. But what water's left, it has to go back in the ocean, is clean. Okay, so the ocean air plus the mountains, we have mountains and ocean air and national reserves full of beautiful birds. You can hear them.
Oh, yeah.
And that's wonderful air for breathing. We're the only city in all of the nation of Mexico that has purified water.
Nice.
Oh, wow.
A hotel or a resort might have their purifying plant, but not a city. And we do. The big deal about many cities is you got to be careful. You brush your teeth with purified water, everything. We don't have to have as much fear about that at all.
Oh, that's good to know because, expats in general, or even, regular vacationers want to make sure wherever they vacation have the clean water. I mean, the big thing everyone was always worried about was the Mexican water. Don't drink it whenever you hear.
Well, we don't
What's that, Fred?
We don't drink from the tap.
We don't drink that because the tubes, the pipes, especially with earthquakes, can be cracked,
Oh, sure.
And then it gets polluted, but it's safe to shower.
In all the parks, you have organic and inorganic. Right. 2 containers, they're right next to each other. You're there, you go and put the appropriate item in that container.
We take great pride. They teach even the kids to take great pride in this city because they know it's about tourism. And we want the city very, very clean. And it is a clean city. And we take pride in it.
We have 3 pickups a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
For trash.
Okay.
We only have 2. Nice. Okay.
And you talk about tourism. Are you allowed to get day passes for the local resorts?
Yes, you can. They can be expensive. recently did a video about I did two on the beach clubs. A wonderful lady that she's 85 and I helped her find little 1-bedroom studio and help her get here and set everything up because she's not digital on her phone. Got her taxi driver and everything, regular taxi driver. And she bought us a membership to a beach club here.
Oh my
that was so nice.
Nice.
I know. So we went ahead and did a video on it. It did recently go up, and it's 2,500 pesos a year.
Oh,
that's nothing. Yeah.
wow. That's amazing.
For 4 people.
For 4
What?
people.
Wow.
Yeah, and you get 10%. Some of the waiters give you 10% off, some 15. They're just making a changeover right now from your bill if you eat at the buffet or eat in their restaurant overlooking the ocean. It's got a hammock place, playground. It's got different sports, kids.
A regular
It's
swimming
got a
pool.
wonderful swimming pool. Lots of umbrella sitting on the beach by the pool. It's a lovely place. And for that price,
Yeah, it's so worth it. Now, do you get there by walking or do you take your ATV?
we live further, remember, but most of the people get there by walking. Yeah, we would ATV.
So a lot of people that live there, regular residents, probably purchase these packages, right? It's so affordable.
They have since the video because they weren't really aware,
Yeah.
And now, big deal. And then there's another club. We go to it on Tuesdays and Thursday mornings for exercise class. Type of exercise, and it's called Sea and Soul. It is even more luxurious with infinity pool, and that one costs more. And then there's the one in Santa Cruz, is the little town where the cruise ships come in, and they have a nice one there. It's even a little bit more expensive. Whatever you're looking for is there. Now the resorts, the 3 resorts, yes, you can get day passes there. They're not cheap. I can't even tell you how much they are.
But
Maybe 250 each a day, dollars.
Oh, wow. That's a lot. Yeah.
But you're eating
the buffet.
the
Right,
buffet.
that includes the meals, right?
Yeah.
It's not just
And see, Fred and I don't drink, but I suppose it's worth it.
people who
Right?
drink.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So if they're going to go for breakfast, lunch, and dinner and be by the pool and have margaritas, it's probably cheap.
Right.
Speaking of things like that, what do you all do for fun in Huatulco?
Well, now we go to the pool on Tuesdays. I'm making a new schedule. We've started, we do, I think it's called Delfinkras or Feldenkras.
Feldenkras.
Yeah, there's special exercises on Tuesday and Thursday mornings. Then we go we go to the pool on Tuesday after exercise class. We like to go filming. Now that COVID's over, we can go filming. Our church is a barrel of fun for us. It's off the grid. And and it's out in the woods, beautiful. And after church, the different deacons cook the lunch for everybody out in the fellowship palapa over firewood. And we've
nice.
a lot of kids a lot of kids at our church, and we just did a fundraising, and they got enough money that they're building a big 3-classroom Sunday school for them. We help with
fundraising.
We like to help do fundraisings. We've helped start another church in Santa Maria, and now we're helping a community of Adobe homes and Adobe studios. So we try to help people with new ways to live a better life here.
You guys are so nice.
Yeah, that's
Thank
so
you.
great.
Thank you for everything you do.
We've got family. We've got a couple coming the 11th of December. I know all of my people by email. I don't know their face maybe because COVID didn't let me meet them all. And I know their struggles, and I encourage them when they're having meltdown, giving all their things away.
Oh, yeah.
This couple's coming to give English class to kids.
That's nice.
And I've got kids together, and all the parents are very excited.
We've covered a lot. One final question for each of you, and that is, what words of wisdom do you have for individuals who wish to move abroad?
Don't believe everything that you're learning on Facebook. That's not place to learn. Everybody has a different mind. They come from a different culture and thinking. They have different standards of what is expensive, what isn't. Do your research not just on Facebook, and don't believe every YouTube because they went to this restaurant or that restaurant. There are some good YouTubers out there, and they really know what they're talking about, but you need to do your research and know who they are. Be careful about making a game plan, no matter where you're going. Make your game plan. Know about immigration. Get your papers and your apostils done before you leave. Get your mail, your virtual mail before you leave. Know what you need to do about getting your Social Security. Find out what a VPN is. Learn how to use apps on a smartphone. Always have 2 different banks with 2 different debit cards that can send money to each other. Be sure that all your credit cards go in there and be sure they know you're going to that country so they don't block your card. There are you have got to have, and I know that people say that we're old-fashioned. I don't care if you're a millennium, 75 years old. I was a professor 21 years. So let me please talk to my baby boomers. Enjoy your technical things. Yeah. We have to have Magic Jack, and you better get it. Because if you need to get a verification code, if your phone gets run over, if what if you can't get a verification code on your phone? You're done.
What's a Magic Jack? Oh, that thing where you can, that little device.
You put it on your phone as an app. Yeah. I can use your phone. If my phone's lost, I can go to your phone and sign into Magic Jack and have my phone.
Nice.
Wow.
I can get my verification number.
Right.
Then I open up my bank account that got blocked. All 800 numbers. My Magic Jack number is on IRS, the Ohio State, the everything that I need. You bet it is. So if I get blocked, it's okay. They can and have a virtual mailbox. And I just called Monday. Hey, my card expired. I need you to send me a new debit card, but send it to, they know at my bank, send it to my mailbox in Texas. They'll send it to me in 2 days for $50.
Nice. You're not stuck. Right?
Oh, yeah. I've seen people they can't afford to go home to the bank. They can't get their account open. They can't charge anything because they lost their phone.
We're so dependent on that. Yeah, of course.
So you get a Magic. Okay, so you can go on other sites on a laptop. I don't carry my laptop around to make phone calls on. You know,
you don't.
And I need to have Wi-Fi. But if I have a Magic Jack for $44 for 3 years,
yeah.
It's just, these are things you need to know when you're going to another country. Get virtual mail.
These are really good points.
Get VPN. Yeah. They're not going to let you open to pay your taxes on your house or anything else. If you don't have a VPN, they're going to go, you're not allowed into this website.
Wow.
So you go into your VPN and you say, I'm in Miami. They don't care. Just so you cross the border, right?
Right.
Then you can do your banking. You can do what you need to do. Up in a bind.
Yeah. Let me just interrupt for a second. So your banking, you also have in the U.S. as well as in Mexico?
You don't have to have in Mexico, but I do. Mm-hmm. Right. I can use Remitly. It's wonderful. And I got paid today. And so I go in, I take to Remitly. I send $500 from my credit union to my bank here in Mexico. If it's 500 or more, there's no charge and it takes 2 hours.
Oh, wow.
If it's less than 500, it's a whole $3.99. And people who come on a seasonal basis can pay their rent that way.
What's Remitly?
It's an app that sends all over the world, and they can send money from their U.S. bank to their landlord all over the world to another bank. And Remitly just did start where you can go pick up the money you send in a convenience store. So sometimes you have to pay a bill, you
need cash,
and you need cash so that you don't have to be paying those fees. They give it back. And have 2 debit cards and get Magic Jack and get virtual mailbox.
Right. Okay.
It's going to save your life. You can even write a letter, send it to your virtual mailbox, and they'll mail it for you as if you were in the States. Or if it's a credit card you only use online, they'll take a picture of both sides and just keep using it on Amazon. And we do get Amazon here.
That's a very good point. Fred?
The only other thing I can add, wherever you live, don't try to make what you've learned there the standard in Mexico.
Oh, no.
Mexico is altogether different. They're kind, considerate people, and the signal of acknowledgement is just your hand up like this.
That's a thank you.
That's a thank you.
Oh, a hand facing your
Yep.
face, right, to someone else. Oh, so the back of your hand is towards them?
Yeah.
Huh, okay.
There is a couple videos that we've done some of those signals.
Gestures? Okay, got it. Good to know.
If you're at a restaurant, they won't pester you about the bill, but you just take your hand and make a check mark,
Yes.
and that means to bring the bill.
That's what I do in Chinese restaurants in New York. I do the little check. Although in New York they want you out because they want that table.
Yeah, but they won't do that.
Right.
You can
No, we
pay
hear
as long as you want.
we hear that about Europe as well. They respect your enjoyment of the meal and the company.
You're retired. Be retired.
I like that. I like that. That's really good.
And Fred says love and tolerance is our code. Stop being an ugly American. Love and tolerance is our code. We came to give, not to get angry.
Yeah, that sounds wonderful.
So non-American. On that wonderful note, we want to thank you both for joining our podcast. This was a really great episode, so full of information, and we're going to put all your information that people can access, as well as the tips within your YouTube information as well on the show notes.
Yeah, that was great. Thank you so much. And don't forget to check out Cindy's YouTube channel, Life in Huatulco.
Very nice. Thank you, guys. Take care.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you so much.
Okay, bye now.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
We hope you've enjoyed this episode. If you know someone who's relocated for retirement and wishes to share their story with us, please reach out to us. We'd love to hear from you. Our email address is gg@retirethere.com. Our website is retirethere.com, and you may follow us on Twitter @retirethere_. Now, if you've liked our show, please subscribe and rate it in Apple Podcasts. In the meantime, be well.